I have a profile that a colleague would like to review. So what I have open here is my geometry file and a profile view. And I could send a link to this file, and my colleague could select the profile and then review the rules that are assigned to define that profile. However, not everyone's proficient in OpenRoads and is comfortable looking at rules to review a profile. So what I'm going to do is create a new file and then annotate it, and then send a link to that file for my colleague to review. So I normally would use the Ohio DOT application to create design files, but in this case I'm going to create a temporary file that's not part of my plan set. So I'll create a file manually by just going to File and New, and I'm not going to use a wizard in ProjectWise to do this. And I'm going to change the folder where this is created. So since it's a temporary file, I'm going to put it under 999 Scratch. I'm going to make sure I'm using the Design Seed 2D for my work set, and I'm going to give this a name of Preliminary Profile. I'll go ahead and OK that. So when I'm prompted, I've got the option here to check the file back in, my geometry file, or just free it if I didn't make any changes. I'm just going to go ahead and free it. So I'm going to display the profile in here. So I'm going to use the Attach tools, and I'm going to attach two files. Under Roadway Base Maps, I need my geometry file, so we'll add that to the list. And I'll go up the path, and we'll grab the survey folder under 300 Survey Base Maps. So there's our field book that's got our survey and our terrain. Need that to show my existing ground. So I'll accept the default reference attachment settings. Double tap my mouse wheel to fit, and I do want to select the terrain and make that the active terrain model. So let's go ahead and display the profile in this file. So I'll hold down the right mouse button. Under View Control, we're going to do two views, Plan and Profile. Select OK to create our dynamic profile view from this particular alignment in this view window that was opened. Okay, so the profile view is displayed, and the only thing that it's showing me is this profile cut that I have for my culvert. So I need to turn a couple levels on. So I'll use Control E, and in Level Display, I'll pick my profile attachment there, and I'm going to scroll down and turn on our PFP grade line and our PFX ground line. And then I'll just double tap the wheel to fit. So let's go ahead and annotate this. And to do that, I am going to lay out a name boundary and create a sort of a sheet. So I'm going to come up to my OpenRoads modeling. Under Drawing Production, we'll use the name boundary tool. And we have training for this in various places. So I'm just going to step through this pretty quickly. So I'm creating a civil profile, and I'm using the OHDOT option for profile only, and I am using a 20 scale. I'm going to make sure I'm using station limits for my method, and I'll define the station limits down here by clicking in Start Station and then just clicking in my profile view. And I'm going to change this to start at 715 plus 00. I'm going to take it up to maybe 740. So if I click in the profile view, it will show me the name boundaries that it's going to create. And I want to make this one continuous name boundary. So instead of a length of 500, I'm going to change it to the length to match my full station range. So I've got 2,500 feet there, I believe. Yeah, so now I can see that entire name boundary. I can change my vertical exaggeration factor and my available profile height if I want. I'm just going to leave those at their defaults. Make sure all four options are on. So I'll give a data point to accept my ending location, another data point to place the name boundary in the file. So I'm going to create a drawing here, and I'm going to do it in the file I'm in. I'm not creating a new file for a sheet. I want to make sure I set my scale for my drawing model at 20 scale, and my sheet model is at 20. I'll just OK that. So I'm using a sheet clipping process, and all I really care about is the drawing model, and it does show me the sheet model. And you're going to see this warning that outdated information might be displayed. That's because I have a profile cut, and those are a static cut. So you do have to refresh those in the geometry base map where it was created if something's changed. Anyway, I changed my view groups to my drawing model, and there's that same little message since I changed models in the profile cut. And this is my profile that's now annotated with my curve data information. So that might be a little easier for someone to review. And this is referenced from my base map. So if any changes are made to the profile in the geometry base map, the annotations will update to automatically reflect those changes. To make this a little easier to read, I'm going to change the transparency on my grid lines. So if I come up to the Home tab and use the Level Manager, I'm sorting by the levels that are in use, and I have the transparency option turned on. So for my grid line, I'm just going to click on transparency value and change that to 80%. Now we'll let those grid lines kind of fade behind the back there and make it a little easier for someone to review. Okay, so I don't need that sheet model. It's not going to hurt anything to leave it there. This is a temporary file. If I wanted to, I could go to the models dialog and just to clean this up a bit, just get rid of that sheet model. And it does ask me to update the DG and WS file, so we'll check that in. And I'll go ahead and save settings on this so it's saved in this view and for my reviewer to quickly access the information. So the last thing I'm going to do is send a link to this to my colleague. So if I go back to our ProjectWise Explorer, and in our 999 Scratch folder, I can right-click on the file name, and I'm going to use Send to Mail Recipient as Link. That's just going to open my email, and I can choose who this is going to go to. So maybe that needs to go to Mark McLeod, and we'll copy JD on that, give it a subject, and type in anything else. And there's my link to the file in ProjectWise. So this is just using the name boundary method in a little different application. So a little creative thinking here to use the tools to, go outside the box a little bit. I'm not really generating a sheet, but I am generating that annotated profile. If you guys have any questions or problems with this, just contact the Office of CAD and Mapping Services. We'd be glad to help you out.